Hey, what's happening, everybody? How are you today? Welcome to Wednesday's weighted object workout. Today, we have an every minute on the minute workout. We're going to be doing this for 18 minutes. We've got 3 different movements, which means we've got 6 rounds of today's workout. So for our first movement, we're going to use our weighted object here. No, I'm sorry, our first minute is going to be the cardio portion. We're going to do, this is 50 seconds cardio of your choice. So whether that's a run interval, which may be about 200 meters or so for most people, or any other cardio of your choice. If you've got a jump rope, great, single unders, double unders, jumping jacks, mountain climbers, high knees in place. For those of you guys who do have bikes and rowers at home, that's great too. What I want you to focus on though is try and keep that intensity level up. Okay, this is a timed interval. There's not a set distance or a set number of repetitions for any of those movements that I just went over. So I want you to try and keep a pretty good, strong pace on each of these first minutes of every round here. So 50 seconds, whatever that cardio of your choice is. Second minute, we're going to go to 18 weighted object ground to overhead. So of course, you're going to customize or adjust the weight of your object to something that will allow you to get not only 18 reps, but we got to get those 18 reps in about 50 seconds or so. We've got under a minute. We got to be ready to transition to our third minute. So adjust your weight appropriately accordingly to whatever the object is that you're using. I'd say for 18 weighted object ground overhead, doesn't necessarily have to be unbroken. There is probably enough time to break that once, maybe even twice, but certainly no more than that. So we're probably shooting for a weight of the object that's going to allow for, I'd say 8 to 10 repetitions each time you pick that thing up. So 2 ways we can go ground to overhead. One's going to be a clean and jerk. One is going to be a snatch. The clean and jerk, generally a little bit stronger movement. Snatch, generally a little bit faster movement. So that's not to say you have to pick one or the other and stick with it. You can do a combination of both. So you may start with the clean and jerks, start with the snatches, which is going to be a little faster. Then as you fatigue, you maybe transition into some clean and jerks. But again, totally up to you how you want to do that. Let's go over this really quickly with our backpack. Setup position is going to be the same on both of these. Hips nice and low, back tight and flat here. Neutral gaze with the head and the spine. From here, guys, going to go ahead and start to deadlift up. Big jump and shrug. Whip those elbows forward and land into a shallow squat. From here, he's going to do a little dip and drive, press that bag up, push his head through, lock that out real strong overhead. For your clean and jerk, for the snatch, and he's going to go into that same setup position here, and he's going to extend with the hips, a big jump and a shrug, and he's going to punch that object up into the ceiling in one motion. So for your clean and jerk and your snatch are going to be your 2 ground to overhead options. For your third minute, then we're going to go to 15 push-ups. So as far as your push-ups go, you guys all know the standards on this that we're looking for. What's really important is to adhere to a good range of motion. This is a great time for everybody to get better at their push-ups, since it is something that's easily accessible to all of us during this time, anytime, all the way down to the floor. Make sure some part of that chest is touching the deck. Make sure those elbows are staying in also, guys. This is something we see quite often. Notice the position of his elbows here. We want to keep these elbows in towards the side. They don't have to be glued into the ribs, but we want to definitely keep them in closer to the body. What we want to avoid at all costs is getting this wide, flared out elbow position and pressing up from here. We see this in a lot of push-ups. It's a weak movement. It's very bad on the shoulders. Lock those elbows back in close to your body. Press up. Of course, going to the knees, if necessary, is also acceptable. If 15 is too many for you in each of those minutes, either scale them to make that number doable or simply pull that number down. We probably want to get, let's say call it as many push-ups as you can do in 45, 50 seconds. Whatever that number happens to be, you can also approach that third minute in that way as well. So those are your movements today, guys. That's your workout. Enjoy this one. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.